As representatives involved in creating the most accessible form of art entertainment with the widest reach, it is important for us to meet and understand each other, to assess where we are headed as a community, as social representatives, and indeed as a nation. The badge of the largest film-producing country in the world is worn by all of us with immense pride. With it comes a degree of responsibility, for ours is an evolving society on the economic, social, and educational fronts. It is also a society that is deeply rooted in strong traditions of art and philosophy. To be honest with you, as a person with a background in the classical arts of the country, when I was asked to serve this organization, one of the first things that caught my eye, and you will forgive me, was the logo. It was a sliced film. To me, it denoted a certain presumptuous and very aggressive intent that baffled me. This is not what the organization is about, surely, I asked. Is it still an organization with a rule book authored by hardliners with no hold over reality? But gone are those days when Indian filmmakers were plunged in bitter litigation, passionately defending their inalienable right to the freedom of expression, as is in the firestorm of controversy over Shrike Abbas's film, The Tale of Four Cities. The dispute included, among other things, the right of the filmmaker to show a woman's knees, the transactional exchange of currency notes between a prostitute and her client, only hands were shown, and her symbolic closing of a window. From there to films today, we have come a long way indeed. A secretary of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting in 1995 held that the freedom to air one's views is the lifeline of any democratic constitution, and any attempt to stifle, suffocate, or gag this right would sound a death knell to democracy. To do justice to my job, I have been educating myself in numerous cases related to the art of cinema and read the various judgments of the very honorable judges and courts across our country. And while I wondered how my artist friends who went to court with their films read through those copious pages of judgment, I found I was fascinated by them. I cannot resist quoting from a couple of them. The Honorable Justice Krishna Iyer said, "Surely the sattva of society must rise progressively if mankind is to move towards its timeless destiny. And this can only be guaranteed if the ultimate value vision is rooted in the unchanging basics of truth, goodness, and beauty. Satyam Shivam Sundaram." Social scientists and spiritual scientists will broadly agree that man lives not by mystic, ascetic chance alone, but by luscious love of beauty, sensuous joy of companionship, and moderate non-denial of the normal demands of the flesh. Another very learned Jan Narayan Das of the state versus the state of Madhya Pradesh in 74 said, "It is our firm belief, nay, a conviction which constitutes one of the basic values of a free society to which we are wedded under our constitution, that there must be freedom not only for the thoughts that we cherish, but also for the thoughts we hate. The standards we set for our censors must make a substantial allowance in favor of freedom, thus leaving a vast area for creative art to interpret life and society with some of its foibles along with its good. To ensure that, we tap today into an extraordinary wealth of experience and expertise that we have gathered. Today's agenda has been structured along 2 sessions. The first of these, Saman, will allow us the opportunity to introspect about the vast power that movies wield in society, and the need to explore how freedom of expression can be most judiciously tapped into while taking into account the sensibilities of the artist as well as those of society. This session is to be opened by Shri Yash Chopra ji and will be moderated by Shyam Benegal ji. I thank both of them for honoring us thus. The second session, Sopan, will go into the challenges facing cinema and the challenges of classification. The medium of cinema is a dynamic, evolving medium. It is a barometer of social norms and emerging practices. Many a time, films, in holding up a mirror to today's practices, heralds the practice and norms of tomorrow. This session will feature Shri Amit Khanna, Prahlad Kakkar, and of course, Shabana Azmi. May I thank each of you for what I am sure is going to be a fiery and totally engaging discussion. Both sessions will feature eminent panelists who bring with them potent and diverse views which would all go towards helping us understand this industry and how it will face its challenges while respecting the society which it aims to reflect and comment upon. My gratitude to the panel members who will breathe life into the idea of sensibilities for the complex and layered nation that India is. I look forward to listening to you today. As a dancer, yes, a Nachaniya, a proud one too, I am often looked upon by my very progressive and intellectual friends as conservative and traditional, and therefore far removed from contemporary mediums of art like films. So I believed it was us who were stranded in a past that is irreconcilable with the present. Imagine my amazement when I discovered that the film industry is governed by a Cinematograph Act of 1952. Ah, sweet revenge, that the most technologically advanced and cool industry in India is caught in its own time warp. So before we go into dialogue mode, I would like to propose a few changes. First, that all of us cease to identify the board loosely as the censor board, which is how we commonly refer to it, unfortunately. May I remind all of you that it is the certification board and not the censor board. It might also be prudent to recommend to our ministry and to the government that instead of the Central Board of Film Certification, we call ourselves in the future the Indian Board of Film Certification. We have moved emphatically into the global mainstream, and our nation has gained in stature in the Global Fellowship of Nations. The tag of Central from our current name has little relevance abroad. Therefore, may we consider replacing it with the word Indian, which is what we are so proud to be. And since we are contemplating change, perhaps we ought to move from certification to classification. For classification is about identifying, recognizing, and catering to the needs of different target audiences. By moving our focus from certification to classification, we could aim to provide the filmmaking fraternity with the tools to reach out to their target consumer. In order that we move forward in an atmosphere of complete transparency, we're delighted to announce that the process for applying for the classification of a film can soon be initiated online, and that the online process will include a cut-off date by which the classification will be made. The classification certificate will also be available online. There is also the cause of the documentary filmmaker that we need to deliberate upon, and which I feel very strongly for. These men and women deal with subjects that are close to their hearts and to the conscience of society, with no certainty of payback. There is no pocket theatre culture in the country, no patience in civil society to view this genre of film. We are looking at introducing a new fee structure for documentary and certification guidelines that are different. This is a process. In the meantime, we plan to train and sensitize the examining officers and advisory panel members towards documentary appreciation and certification. It has also been decided that films certified in 3D format need not be recertified in 2D. This will save production house time and money. The logo of CVFC and the censor certificate are being redesigned by the National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad. I think you will like the change. We all eagerly await the amendments of the Cinematographic Act. The changes that our ministry are contemplating are intended to reflect positive change and to contemporize the bill. Soon after the amendments are introduced, we plan to launch an awareness campaign for our end users, the audience. It is my personal experience that audiences in general still do not understand the meaning of a UA category. Similarly, an A-rated film is still considered to be sleazy, inappropriate, which is not true. There are a whole lot of other factors that fetch a film an A rating, and some of these films are classy and highly recommended viewing for adult audience. We hope to get the industry's support in our awareness campaigns, workshops, and seminars. As much as we would like to be a certification or classification body alone, we are concerned about a growing trend of extremely violent cinema, especially in the regional languages. Similarly, it has been brought to my notice that Bhojpuri films, for instance, songs, picturization, and lyrics are almost pornographic. We have decided to take corrective measures, and we hope that we have industry and civil society's backing. Through seminars and interactions such as this, I hope we are able to find working solutions for most, if not all, the issues that currently exist between us and you. If the filmmakers adopt self-restraint in regard to issues sensitive to our nation and its people, it will help CBFC evolve as a certification body true to its name. I would like to acknowledge the contribution of my many predecessors who had the interests of the industry at heart, as well as the sensibilities of society. Some of these ideas and the process towards the formulation of the new bill, which is proposed to be passed in the monsoon session of Parliament this year, was what they worked to see become a reality. With the passing of one of the greatest artists of our time, the incomparable Maqbool Fida Hussain, may we remind ourselves, as Mr. N. Ram so poignantly put it in a requiem in The Hindu, that his quiet and dignified passing in a London hospital brings to a close one of the sorriest chapters in independent India's secular history. I know no one more genuinely and deeply committed to the composite multi-religious and secular values of Indian civilization than M.F. Hussain. He breathed the spirit of modernity, progress, and tolerance. The whole narrative of what forced him into exile, including the failure of the executive and legal system to enable his safe return to India, revolves around the issues of freedom of expression and creativity and what secular nationhood is all about. Let the people of India pay their respects to a great son who, rising from humble origins of this city, used his prodigious talent and creativity to portray and celebrate all that is diverse and wonderful about this country and the historical civilization it represents. I'd like to conclude by affirming that I stand before you as a friend, open to dialogue, and whose doors will always be open to you for discussion and debate. I'm not here as a bureaucrat and not as a government official, but as an artist first and last. Welcome again to this seminar. May our debates be vigorous, our speakers fearless, and the cause of good cinema our only maqsad. Thank you.